influenced the modes of exhibitions and displays, and also reception of the works. So at that time, there were no fairs dedicated to such medium. And even though I think artists have a much more, wider and broader approach to creative process that not only focuses on a single medium, it is true that video required different conditions from either painting, sculpture, or photography. So Loop was born with the idea to create a space that was tailored for the exhibition and reception of video. It was initially born as a fair, and with a really unique format in the sense that there was a hotel. The fair would take up all the rooms in the hotel, and every room in the hotel would translate in the booth of a gallery. So you would have contiguous black boxes, one next to the other, and every gallery would present just one video by one artist. The idea was to create a much more slow-paced environment, a much more intimate experience than standard fairs. And so Loop was born with that primary intention. Then a few years later, it also expanded into a city festival involving different kinds of space, from artist-led spaces to public institutions. And then also Loop evolved into a platform whose main objective is to focus on the study and promotion of moving image at large. So these would say are the main objectives of Loop. Next year we'll be celebrating the 20th edition of the event, which is a milestone for the project. And I think that even though a transdisciplinary approach is much more interesting, I think that an event that is solely dedicated to a medium like video is still interested to be celebrated for its uniqueness, for all the necessities that video manifests as a unique medium. And every time that I try to also explain to myself what video is, I always like to refer back to its Latin etymology, because it comes from the word videre, video, that means I see. So I think that one of the best things of video is that it really claims for its validity as a tool to better imagine, represent, and capture reality. And this is why I think it's one of the most used media and deployed by contemporary artists.
To organize this panel. Hello, Carolina. It's also a pleasure to meet you, even if it's through these screens, medium. And also Enrique, who, even if we have never met in person, I think that each other has followed our research and editorial projects. And we have, I think, several friends in common, like Carolina Olivares. I think that you produce one of your projects with her. So hello to the rest of friends that are here with us. So yes, I've been working with video several times in specific projects, even trying to do some kind of historical researchers. I mean, like more than 10 years ago, with another colleague, friend of mine, Blanca de la Torre, we were working in an exhibition trying to do a Spanish history about video art. No, that was, I think, the first time that we should look at the medium through the historical context at the same level that was important to think in the technical development, no? Something that we cannot separate from the medium, especially if we think how it has developed through the different times, no? Thinking in the museum on how to present it, how to work with it in the spaces, it means also to understand how it was born, how it's the emergence of video in the 60s, at the end of the 20th century. At the beginning, it was just the camera itself and a kind of television, a small vision for each material. And I think that important, it's not only the medium, and I talk later about that, it's also how it becomes an opportunity that gives the artist, in one hand, some kind of freedom. Okay, so it really in the beginnings, it was like some opportunity to believe that you can think and rethink the present and the future without the need of the institution, no, of something that support your production, because it was really easy, no, and you can capture the reality so easily. So I think it was also in this new interesting to create a reflection, a critique of the times that the artists were living in that moment, no. That's important because all that artists became a kind of a new generation that really believed that they were working in a kind of democratic medium, very democratic, because it was accessible for all of them. No, of course, these things have changed. Even if it's easy to make a video, no, it's easy now, but not because it's cheaper, also because the technique has changed and it's easy to work with. And it's something it gives us a kind of contradiction, because even the beginning was, I think it was they lived in a kind of simultaneously interesting research line between the subject that they were working in, I mean, the ideas that they want to represent or express, and same time there were a group of artists that just was focused in the possibilities of the medium itself. No, I'm thinking like the Basulka group or some others, no, that they really want in creating a research about the medium, how the image can appear in the TV, etc. No, of course, with the digital eruption, it changed a lot and quickly. No, we start to talk about how it changed the space itself. If we talk about the museum or the gallery of art center, it doesn't matter. No, if until that moment we think the spaces like in the normal needs, I mean the light, I don't know how to express, no? How to dispose the trajectory of the public in this kind of new perception. With the eruption of the digital, we need dark spaces. We can work with different screens in the same space, and it changed a lot of our relation with the perception. No, and we cannot forget how that's important. And at the same time, I think that we are living now a new era, a third new era about these technical eruptions, because if in one hand it gives us, or it allows us to create new images and to work easily with all these new tools, in the other hand, we are losing, no, a kind of natural content, a kind of research of the medium itself, because all of us, we can create a video with a phone. No, so it's for me, it's a kind of first age where we are discovering the medium, not digital, of course. Second one, with the born of the digital tools, and this one, I think that, and the current one, no, the present, where we are living a kind of extra, no, tools. I don't know how to designate. Maybe iconosphere could be an idea, no, because we are around thousands of moving images, no, all the time, through different dispositives. So how to present it in the museum? Of course, I think that it's something that it's important. It's not only reception. It's like more, I prefer the word perception, no, because we need to think in how we connect with these people that pass all the day, no, using or consuming moving images, how to really create the space, the time, because I think time and space are together when we are talking about museums and galleries, etc., that people really field that want to have the experience, of that time and space that we are present. This dialogue is the only need that we need. It doesn't matter which experience we want to achieve, but it's important to don't forget that this connection through the dialogue is the only way to don't lose ourselves at the end, of the capacity to reconnect and perceive the artwork. Of course, talking about the video is the same. No, for that I think that it's not only how to present through these digital tools. I come back to one of the things that I try to explain before. I don't know if I do it, but if I did it. Really, I think that important is how to present, how to connect through the ideas, how to reconnect with the people. Because now I'm thinking in this kind of blockbuster exhibition, okay, most of them and each time more technological, with different sensations, perception. For example, this kind of deep experience that in theory offer you these kind of clean reproduction paintings, in the space, so mapping and etc. And of course are immersive experience, but I don't know, it's something like a show, thinking like spectacular proposals, and I think that it's not the way. Even we are using this kind of moving image tools, For me, it's important how Marittima creates these different work lines, because one thing that is important, and especially this year, is cares. And what we mean when we are talking about cares, we are talking about how to protect the art context, how to help them to produce their work, and it hasn't nothing to do with how it is the final result, just in the perfection of the image. So I come back to the ideas. It depends which are the artist's interest. What is his conceptual proposal at the end? What is the conceptual framework? I think it's that we need to don't move from there. And then, of course, even if the future gives us, I don't know, I cannot now know what will happen in the future, because I'm not a kind of, have not this...
en fait, pour le son de l'espace. Donc, pour donner un exemple, en fait, lui disait, en fait, où il a, dans des grottes comme Lascaux, par exemple, où la représentation des peintures, ils sont des animaux très, très grandes. La réverbération, elle est très grande, elle est immense. Aussi, dans des autres grottes qui sont plus petites, les dessins, la représentation des animaux, ils sont des animaux plus petits. Peut-être il faudra traduire quelque chose. Donc, en fait, la vidéo, c'est juste une médium pour raconter des choses. Je ne me considère pas une vidéo artiste, par exemple. Je ne suis pas sûr si le vidéo art il existe aujourd'hui. Je pourrais dire que le vidéo art il a disparu les années 90, peut-être. Mais parce qu'aujourd'hui, on a un accès à l'image énormément beaucoup plus grande. Et tout le monde il a un téléphone, tout le monde il a la possibilité de créer des images. La question, c'est qu'est-ce qu'on veut faire avec ces images, en fait, et comment on utilise ces images. Et je crois que c'est ça surtout
huge debate in the 80s. A lot of artists were kind of claiming, the sharing of resources between cinema and video art, because they're made of the same. And that goes back to that universality of the images that Enrique was talking about. So what really makes it different is the context of reception. in a way. And of course, the industry that is completely different right now, because of course the cinema industry is much bigger and there's a lot of stress on profit making, whereas the contemporary artwork is much more of a niche. So of course it functions in a different way. But I think this idea of the context is related a lot with the idea of labels that we tend to put on artworks, that sometimes just put, artworks in a box and really does not benefit the reception. It's really difficult to access videos and some other ways. I mean, you cannot learn about video by reading of it on a book. So I think that looking at the future, we should really work on a model that allows artists to sell their video through limited edition, but also to make it available maybe through on-demand and streaming platform to create, a kind of critical mass that could study, think, and question the videos. Because with photography, painting, and sculpture is another different thing. You can take a history of art manual and read about it. You can look at pictures, and of course, it would never be the same as seeing them live, but it could create kind of a substitute. And with video, I think this is something that is lacking nowadays, and that it's really, really important, especially because we are surrounded by moving images, but I feel that we have not yet learned how to read those images. And so I think that on the part of museums, festival, and all initiatives that think about the value of moving image
each person. I have some example reference, but I think I will go on. So we talk about with Carolina too that a camera is a tool. Eyes, so Bill Viola testifies that, or Gary Hill, great artist too. And for me, video art is a medium that allows the experience of transformation for the video maker, the people filmed, and the viewers. I probe to classify, assemble, preserve, and restore our personal and collective memories, and then transcribe them for, by example, immersive installation. I have chosen to invite you to watch a video. I don't know if we have the time. It's a little compilation of several of my artworks to understand my research. So maybe I can, we see Marie Voignier on Yanatus Bertrand with facts, testimonies, etc. I question the environment in which I find myself, my body and my mind, all three of which I always in a state of transformation to rework and transcribe them. So this is why in my audio, visual, and textual editing, I'm looking for a particular articulation of the images which affects or multiple in-between states, I call like that, caesuras, transparencies, superposition, or accumulation between image time, so a crystalline process in suspension, approaching photography, and image movements, an organic process, which are two concepts conceived by the philosopher Gilles Deleuze. And it's a question of composing and recomposing this image, these places of passage and transmission. This is why my plastic operation gives meaning to video arts that become a relay. So it's my research, and it's to support, to create echoes, like Enrique said, with the information. And I see an adaptation with other people, like resilience, when I work in progress with people, and I question the ecological issues too, with the complexity of our world, and I question the risk of collapse between utopia and dystopia. So yes.
I think Laurine, that could be